Picture this, a breathtaking swim pond nestled in the heart of California, designed to bring nature's tranquility and joy right into your backyard. But we knew this project required something truly special, something that would make it unforgettable. So we embarked on a quest to find the perfect rock. From the initial planning to the construction, every step was infused with passion and expertise. It was time to turn our vision into reality. Weeks of hard work and unwavering commitment later, our dream became a stunning reality. Stay tuned for the upcoming episodes where we dive deeper into the challenges, triumphs, and the joy this project has brought us.
When I met with the customers, what made them decide to go with the swim pond? Originally, we were kind of talking about a swimming pool, and there was always a lot involved in building a swimming pool, as we do. A lot of engineering, a lot of permits, all kinds of things that are required for a swimming pool. And a rec pond kind of came up, and they seemed very interested in pursuing that idea, mainly because they really, I think Des especially, Bill and Des were the customers, and Des really wanted something that was not a sterile system that didn't have a bunch of chemicals in it.
Originally, it was supposed to be 20 by 28, I believe. Yes, 20 by 28. And then after we lay it out, they spray paint and all that, the client realized that maybe he wanted to extend a little bit more.
They asked us if if it was your pond, what would you do? And Jorge said, well, the only thing I could think of is Missouri limestone. And I thought, oh my gosh, of course. So I sent him a few photos, and that's all it took. Missouri limestone kind of speaks for itself.
So once we got there to Missouri, to the rock yard, Senko, by the way, man, they were so great. So the first thing that I was looking is for those boulders that have a lot of character, a lot of crevices, a lot of places where the water is gonna flow through them, And of course, we had to select all different sizes. We cannot build one water feature with one specific boulder. So I first selected the main character boulders, the ones that were gonna be the main focus. From that, we started selecting different sizes to make it more natural. Anywhere from hand size, like a basketball size to like 3-4 foot massive boulders. So we had to mix them all, just like nature.
I think mostly, why should somebody build a swim pond? The main reason that I see with most of my clients is that it's a natural system. There's no chemicals involved, no harsh chemicals. You're not putting chlorine in it. You're actually letting Mother Nature do the work, making it easy to maintain. So there's not a chemical cost, there's not a high maintenance cost involved in it. There's usually a cheaper cost in electricity to run it. But it's a system that is, as if you were going to swim in a lake somewhere. And the water's clear, just like a swimming pool is. There's very little turbidity, so you're really getting a clear pond, as long as there is an understanding of the expectations of the customer, is that there's some mossiness, there's some algae growing within the pond, and that is the natural part of what happens in a rec pond.
The first day was chaotic. Just couldn't figure out a way to bring the materials into the place. First of all, they sent somebody that I believe he was new driving. It was a big truck that he could not even turn around, so he had to park all the way down. And they, Jesus, and we were trying our best to get all the materials up the hill, but the problem is, he was parked in a way that he was blocking traffic. So we were unloading 1 or 2 pallets at a time, and then he had to move his big tractor trailer. The access of the property was great. We have plenty of access over there. It was just the first day the delivery of the materials was just a big issue,
I've always found that a larger pond is easier to maintain than a smaller pond. The smaller the pond is, or the smaller body of water, gallons within that feature, it's affected very quickly and very easily by outside sources. Fertilizers, rain, anything that happens to fall into the pond is kind of exponentially increased in how it reacts with that pond. So the larger bodies of water seem to be better. Now, you can't just have a large body of water without proper filtration. So when you get into larger bodies of water, that's when we start to work into wetland systems and wetland filtration, and that is really what helps the system maintain better water quality as well as clearer and easier maintenance.
For this particular pond, since it's going to be a rec pond, wetland was, it's needed, normally it has to be like about anywhere from 15 to 25% of the surface area. That's how it has to be built. And of course, you're going to see on the pictures and videos, big hole, then we put the underlayment, the liner, aqua blocks, inland, and then we put 3 layers of different materials. And if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see Greg explains this in more details in one of our videos. The link is going to be in the video in the description. Adding an extra waterfall going under the bridge, it was designed from the beginning, because Bill wanted to create it like a unique, so you see all the time having like a waterfall coming down the stream and under the bridge. The problem here is like we have a big pond, and if we would have connected the pond with the waterfall going under the bridge, we would have had to create a massive reservoir to be able to handle the water in motion coming from the pond. So what we decided is break it up into 2 features, a pondless and the pond next to it, but at the end, making it look like the water is coming from the pond instead of just being a separate entity.
Typically, if you're doing an overhanging deck, it's maybe a wood deck. And so maybe you're overhanging a couple feet or something like that. And you got to have a good carpenter to be able to extend all of the beams out that can hold people obviously on the deck. In this case, it was a pavilion, so it was a concrete slab. And so what we wanted was for the concrete to actually overhang the pond. And then there was an elevation change that had to happen in order to have our pond run underneath it. And that required getting an engineer involved. And the concrete overhung by 3 feet. Piers had to be put in. So there was a lot of things that had to happen that in order to make that come to fruition.
What it takes to build a large scale project like this? Well, it's kind of like the components are pretty much the same. The small pond is about the same components, In this case, we have a wetland instead of biofalls.
Rec ponds are like a lake. And I keep saying this, but it's super important that people understand, because if you build a rec pond, they're expecting a sterile feel to a rec pond. It doesn't happen. That's what a swimming pool's for. But if you have clear expectations and you really want a beautiful feature that acts naturally, that is easier to maintain and adds something extremely aesthetic in your backyard, then a rec pond's where you want to be.
Our clients gave us all the trust. I have to say that Bill and Des, man, they were awesome. I believe from day one, they met with Greg. He told me about him. He said, oh, they're gonna be great customers, and he was right. Then I met with them, and throughout the whole design process, everything was good, Even though when they saw us the first day dealing with all this stress and whatnot, and like I always tell our clients, the first week is gonna look like a bomb exploded, and that actually literally happened over there. We had a mess all over, dirt piles, and it was just, bad, to be honest. All I ever saw throughout the whole process of him, he just looking through the window, his balcony, and just giving me the thumbs up, So that gave me a lot of encouragement. Do I have any favorite features in the pond? I think the bridge, the water going under the bridge, and then, because I remember I told Jesus, make it look like the water is coming under the bridge. So I have to give him credit for that. He did an amazing job. I think I love walking on top of the bridge and seeing the waterfall next to it, and it feels like it's coming from the pond.
Bill and Des asked us, and the Tano's Construction, the company that built the pavilion, they actually hosted us at their house with Thomas Construction and all of our employees. So we all came over to their house, and they got to show off their pond, and they treated us so nice, and we had such a great time out there. And we got to see the whole feature running, and the lights lit up at night. So it was great for all the guys to kind of feel that they were appreciated, and it was great to really spend time with Bill and Des and enjoy their backyard as they're going to do for the next many, many years.